Speak with Saturnin. This latest wound he has dealt may be fatal. He need only for us to succumb, and then he can find these sorrows. So that is what we will deny him. Let our losses harden our resolve. Where once we sought victory, we shall now seek attrition.
What do you mean by sorrows?
I have told you of the burden that every Winter Fae carries from their birth. We are to embody death and decay in our very essence. For centuries, the Delvers of the House of Sorrows have been harvesting this essence from their winter brethren to relieve them of this burden. This amalgam of magic and emotion was collected and concentrated into a single powerful source, the Sorrows. And Saturnin wishes to turn that magic on the mortal armies.
Well, that sounds like a jerk move. What does he want with it?
It is a difficult magic for a mortal mind to grasp, but the accumulation of centuries of sorrows is a fearsome weapon indeed. The burden of a single lifetime of sorrows can be debilitating. Their impact can instill madness or drive a life to end itself. Saturnin would hold a millennium of sorrows. With them, he could obliterate an army's morale and send them from victory to bedlam.
That sounds awful. So how do we find the sorrows?
Their location is an ancient secret. Only two Fae, the eldest, know. They left the house centuries ago to reside in Amalur. The way to them is blocked by the Great Scale, a mighty spell which you must bypass. That alone will open your path to the eldest. You must kill beasts on the pans of the scale. Death is the only weight it will bear.
Okay. What can you tell me of the eldest?
Kael'Rod and Alarain are two of the oldest Fae in the Winter Realm. So old that they predate the house itself. With the death of the house's original ruler, the Weeping King, they fled. Their devotion was to the sorrows, not to winter.
Interesting. Tell me more about the Great Scale.
It is a manifestation of magic that prevents intruders from disturbing the perpetual reverie of the eldest. From what I understand, the sides of the room take the role of a scale, and whoever wishes passage must use death itself to manipulate the scale. The only weight the pans of the scale will acknowledge is death. When something dies on the scale, it will shift you one step closer to the eldest.
That's a little weird. Anything more about the sorrows you can tell me?
The sorrows are an accumulation of the destructive magic that the house has siphoned from the Winter Fae over centuries of existence. The Delvers of the house did this to enable the Winter Fae to create the Court of Winter. But knowledge of the art and the sorrows' location are lost. Still, the sorrows represent a monstrous collection of magical energy. We must deny Saturnin access to it.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
They know where the sorrows, Saturnin's true target, reside. We must rouse them from their reverie and learn from them. To reach them, one must brave the road southward to Amalur and pass the Great Scale.
I can do this thing that you ask. Another piece of gives, I guess not. That must be the island that he was talking about. So I guess we're gonna... We still got plenty of... Took her a while to get back here. We have plenty of time. And inventory space. We will go to... grotto. We'll pop in that grotto. And then use that exit to get further. I don't know if the last area is going to take us 6 hours. Hopefully it comes close. If not, we might start something new Friday. So if I remember correctly, the last area, Alabaster, is like a straight shot. There's not a lot of quests, there's not a lot of missions, it's just kind of get there. This is a super tiny dungeon. It looks cool though, it's all rocky. I'm in like a rocky cave in a while. Those look like little merkin eggs. Cave merkins. Lots of dead people in this cave. Mama probably needed food for the babies. Strange, that was all hidden behind a door too. Again, I think that was probably the longest path we've had so far behind a hidden door. Definitely one with the most enemies. chest? That's weak sauce. Come on, there should have been a chest there. That would have made sense. Okay. Little dungeon, not much to it. Still worth exploring. Now we gotta head south. See, there's still this, though. Tinian's Burial Cairn. I thought this would lead us to over there. Work our way to the other area a little bit. And then if something doesn't pop, then we'll come back.
Hello.
Oh. Kind of look like a merchant. I can't tell, but you look like a merchant.
Hail, adventurer! I am Bruin the Bard, spinner of stories, seeker of adventure. Allow me to welcome you to the Caelid coast, haven to the wise and wicked. These brave soldiers, the finest of the Alfar armies. They escorted me all the way from Melsenshir to these verdant lands. Alas, our journey together has come to an end. But there is still adventure to be had, so join me. If not, then I bid you fair warning. Your journey shall be far less exciting without this storyteller at hand.
You're a shop? I need to sell you junk. Anything useful to buy? Only take lockpicks. What's your story?
Brune was the name given to me by my mother, a lovely daughter of the full moon. A skin like the glow of alabastra. Long ago, I was the court bard of Castle Gastier, the teller of tales, the spinner of stories. But when the Bolgan invaded, well, they had no need of my expertise.
Tell me about this castle.
Lord Aaron Gastier was a very wealthy lord and a powerful landowner. I don't care to speak much more on the subject, thank you.
What about the coast?
This lush land was once the royal domain of two great Alfar families, the Ancillas and the Gastiers, the most powerful of bloodlines and the most bitter of enemies. For centuries, the two houses warred over the coast. So enamored were they with each other that they blinded themselves to the real threat. And so the Bolgan came and conquered. The houses fell before them. One might say they were toppled by their pride.
What do you do?
A wise question. And a fair one. As Bard of the Gastier Court, I know all the tales of the Caelid coast, of how this great land rose and fell, and became what it is now. Allow me the pleasure of your company, and I will lead you through these luxuriant lands, spinning stories of times long since past.
I'd like to hear your stories.
I had a good feeling about you. Someone who cherishes a good story. Let us proceed. The first stop on our tour begins across the bridge behind me. Alas, there is one small problem. That area is favored by our enemies. If you can clear the area of them, I will follow and join you.
What do you know of the army?
The wonderful gentlemen and ladies of the Alfar armies have been kind enough to act as my loyal escorts, all the way from Melsenshir, and before that, Erethel. Without these good, hearty folk, I never would have survived. The voyage across the sea would have been enough to sink my spirits.
What do you need?
We must clear the spot ahead of Bolgan. It is a famous place, and they sully it with their presence and their stench. Goodbye.
What are you?
Oh, he means like right there. Okay. Well, not a problem. However, Lorestone.
Through the woods and mountainside, through the hollows and green meadow, through the summer, winter, day and night, through the hallowed halls of seasons and song, through the vengeance, pride and sorrow, echo the footfalls of the greaves of the Fey Hunter.
I don't want to get that.
The Tuatha are on the run. Good work. Plus, it's much more pleasant here without Gadflow bellowing at me from all corners. But enough pleasantry. Are you prepared for your reunion with Ventrinio?
What are you talking about?
The notes we got from Octien say that you were employed as Ventrinio's assistant in his secret laboratory. You were with him in Alabastra when you died, but the notes weren't clear on what happened. I'm sure the two of you have so much catching up to do.
Look for that spatial area right next to it. It's kind of cool. I've got no grudge with him.
Very forthright of you. I'm sure he'll be very reasonable. He probably won't even ask why you're back from the dead. Just make sure he lives long enough to get us into Alabastra, and you can count on my help.
What do you know about him?
He's a worm, but a useful one. Octien took quite a risk setting him up in Cluracan. Must have made a lot of deals to keep him safely hidden away.
What do you know about the Shadow Walk?
Secret Fey paths through elemental darkness? Magic like that should be closely guarded. Imagine how powerful it could be.
Sounds pretty good to me. What about the House Sorrows?
Believe it or not, the House of Sorrows is the most welcoming of the Unseelie houses. Then again, a viper nest is friendlier than the houses of pride and vengeance.
Definitely sounds like it. What do you know about Danistar?
Danistar is almost perfectly defended. Ventrinio could keep an army off of its shores. Good thing we found another way there.
What about Sedan?
I've heard tales of his work. Half trickster, half spirit of vengeance.
Bitterfrost?
Sidon's band of merciless fae with lifetimes of training and everything to fight for? Yes, I think they'll be quite useful allies indeed.
Are you ready to go?
Of course. This is bound to be informative. I'm just disappointed I never had a chance to see the original Well of Souls.
Dude, there's a cheap remake here.
I believe our new friend has a disturbing path of living shadow to offer you. By all means, be my guest. After you.
Yeah, I'll come back for all that. Oop.
Good luck with the gnome. Especially if you plan on killing him.
How can I reach him?
Right this way, and we can walk the shadow to Danistar Island.
What do I do here?
Stand in the pool of shadow, close your eyes, and touch the tree. I'll take care of the rest. And don't open your eyes while you're moving through the shadows, no matter what you hear.
That seems all kinds of
The
terrifying.
shadow awaits.
I'll be back to do that. Let's clear out this area first. Well, we do have an impromptu guide, so we might as well kind of follow his path. See where he takes us. Hopefully through some more lore stones. Would definitely be nice. Okay, so which ones are we working on? So we're working on this one. We just got that one. Only have one more of the Clericon to do. And 4 more fall and 6 more winter. I'm not mad at those numbers. Ooh. Marker.
Hello. Excellent work. You are clearly much more proficient in the ways of war than most visitors of the Kaled Coast, even the soldiers.
So tell me a story.
It would be my great pleasure. Picture it. 10 years ago, the rising sun, a lingering fog. Somewhere in the forest are screams, the cries of battle. Then silence. It happened here upon this site. The ambush of Gorn Akri. It is here on this spot where the Bolgan drew first blood, killing Lord Aaron Gastir, his son, and their squires during their morning ride. Let us move on, shall we? And if you don't mind, there are more beasts to attend to ahead.
What's next?
The Bolgan have infested the entire area around Castle Gastir, my old home. Destroy them, and I will relate the tale of the First Lord of Gastir himself. Goodbye.
Not very good.
The Tuatha have forced their war upon us. They eagerly cut through mortal flesh and mortal bone, and as a reminder of their butchery, they display these mortal corpses throughout the land, turning sanctity into putrescence. The bodies remain on our ground and on our gallows tree, bloated and corrupt.
Let's go up first. Let's see what that quest is all about.
A fledgling hunter by the looks of it. What's someone so soft doing in the Caelid coast? Don't you know this is Bolgan country? Those red devils are really digging in. I've slain many on my hunt for Chernobog.
So, what's your story?
Ha! My hunts are the stuff of legend. Not even that Fey armor-tear can boast to have tracked and slain more prey than I. And now I intend to claim Chernobog, the Bolgan champion, as my greatest trophy from the Caelid coast.
What about the army?
Grand fellows and courageous to a fault. They're the ones who accompanied me this far, helped me pass through all their bloody checkpoints. Of course, once I had the chance to take leave of them, I did. One doesn't need a band of glory hunters following him on the most glorious hunt of his career.
What about the coast?
The Tuatha and the Bolgan have kept this land in their greedy pockets for more than 10 years. They can have it for all I care. It's a stagnant pit of decay and despair.
Tell me about Chernobog.
The oldest and mightiest of the living Bolgan. He led the armies of Gadflo to victory over the houses of Ancilla and Gastir. Chernobog may be ancient and marred by war, but don't let that fool you. He is as strong as ever.
Who are you?
The scars don't give me away? Ha! You're probably the first person in recorded history not to recognize the mighty Alof the Hunter. Usually my reputation precedes me. As for why I am here in this muggy puddle of piss, I intend to conquer Chernobog, the mighty Bolgan, and win his eye as my trophy. But first he must be summoned, for he won't just face any foe, you know. Only those he deems worthy to smite with his blade.
I'd like to challenge him.
Ha! You're certainly welcome to try, but I'm afraid he'll be much too dead by the time I finish with him. Besides, you still have the offering to consider. Chernobog will only battle those who can prove their ferocity. It is his way of swatting away the flies who don't offer enough of a thrill for his fiery blood. If you can collect the eyes of 10 Bolgans, then you are clearly a warrior who deserves a reckoning. Set the eyes upon Chernobog's war lanterns and the beast will emerge.
What kind of hunts?
I've traveled the world and hunted all manner of beasts. I tracked them down, claimed their heads and hides as mine. Krang the Etin, I slew him, as I did the Fist of Corthis and the clan of Craddock elders in Galafor.
How do I summon him?
By offering the bloodthirsty beast the eyes of 10 Bolgan that you have slain. Once you place that bloody offering on the pedestal and light the war fires, the ugly brute will emerge. Goodbye.
Cool, cool. I take it you mean this place.
We were pro...
Glad I talked to him first before we continued on with the other guy, considering It's all Bulgans all the time from there. Let's see, okay, so what we got? We got a bunch of dead guys and a hidden door over here. A lot of Tuatha sorcery stuff. Not really my thing. I missed something. Oh, there's a little pool there.